Greetings and welcome to another edition of WrestleScope. I'm John. Thank you for joining me on this Tuesday. Got a lot of things to cover here in a short amount of time. First thing I want to talk about is the return of The Undertaker. Yes, that's right. We thought we were done with him at WrestleMania with the Boneyard match with AJ Styles, but it looks like the dead man is coming back. But let me preface this by saying not for in-ring action. The folks over at WrestleVotes, they are reporting the upcoming 11/22 Survivor Series pay-per-view is going to be built around the 30th anniversary of The Undertaker, including him making a live appearance at the show. As their source states as of now, The Undertaker will not be wrestling at the show, which I think is a good thing. Excuse me. Go ahead and focus around The Undertaker. Focus around his anniversary. Don't have him wrestle. Maybe, just maybe, it's going to open the door for a possible return for WrestleMania and something at WrestleMania time. We shall see. But let's leave it at that. I wouldn't go much further than that with it. I do want to talk about Raw, and everybody that I've been watching on YouTube and on Twitter and everywhere else on social media has just been railing on last night's show, and I am in agreement 100%. Now, there's some of us that disagree on what the best part of the show was, but let me focus in first of all on the ending segment. So this is the go-home show. This is the season premiere, and it's the go-home show for Hell in a Cell. Notice the graphic like that there? And they set up absolutely nothing. We get one match. As of right now, they have 4 matches announced. They have Jeff Hardy versus Elias, which we found out about last night. Came out of nowhere. Then you have 3 Hell in a Cell matches that we already knew about. Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, the I Quit Hell in a Cell match for the Universal title. Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton for the WWE title. And then the still unsigned, but it's obviously going to happen this Friday night on SmackDown, Bayley versus Sasha Banks for the SmackDown Women's Championship. So that begs the question, okay, you have Raw. The Raw Tag Team Champions, The New Day, do not have an opponent. The United States Champion, Bobby Lashley, does not have an opponent. Asuka, the Raw Women's Champion. Did I say that already? No, I didn't. Asuka does not have an opponent, and I'm going to talk about Asuka in just a minute. SmackDown, you've got 2 titles. The Universal title, the SmackDown title. Nothing for Sami Zayn yet. Now, obviously that may change. That may change coming up on Friday. Sami Zayn, I could potentially see Sami Zayn versus Daniel Bryan based off of what happened last week. Who knows? And then you've got the Street Profits. God forbid if we see Street Profits versus Ziggler and Rude. The Street Profits, it looks like, are going to be stuck in the never-ending cycle of having to battle the same tag team for 6 months. I've just got a bad feeling about this. There is the potential, and I've got this feeling based off of what happened last night with Miz and Otis, which was a very entertaining part of the show. With Tucker and Miz and Morrison, and Tucker was forced to find a tag team partner to face Miz and Morrison, and he scoured the world. He scoured worldwide and found, oh, good grief, I have to look up the name that he used again. I thought it was quite hilarious, and I don't remember what the name was. Give me just a second here. It was, oh, come on, I should remember this. El Gran Gordo. And I'm not smart enough yet with OBS Studio here to be able to throw pictures up. I'm working on that. El Gran Gordo, which was quite funny. But I could see something being set up on Friday night, which I really hope doesn't happen because, brand splits will be thrown out the window again. But I could see them potentially setting up something, Otis versus The Miz, for the Money in the Bank contract at Hell in a Cell. I hope they don't go that route. I really hope they don't. But who knows? They need to fill out the card right now. What else are they going to do? What else are they going to put on the show? We don't know at this point in time. Things obviously could change between now and Friday. We'll probably see some new announcements Friday night on SmackDown, but minus the Reigns, Uso, and Bayley Sasha matches, I don't care about this pay-per-view. I really don't. And I'm going to do predictions. I want to be able to do predictions in the next day or two, but I have to wait now until what ends up happening Friday night. I may do a prediction show right after SmackDown on Friday night, or I may have to wait until after Talking Smack on Saturday morning, so we have the full card. But Hardy versus Elias, don't care. McIntyre versus Orton, I do, but this one's dragged out way too long. Obviously, if Orton wins, it's got to continue on, because you'd think that Drew would want to get his title back. The Reigns Uso one, even though everybody knows Roman Reigns is going to win that one, it's building on more storyline for the future. It really is. And obviously, Bayley versus Sasha Banks, this is not going to be the culmination of this feud here. This is just the beginning of the feud. Just what is at the start of the feud for those two, which hopefully will culminate at WrestleMania. All right, I do want to talk a little bit more about last night, about Raw, which was an absolutely just, it was a terrible show. It kicks off with something that just didn't make a lot of sense. You've got The Fiend and Alexa Bliss in the ring, and then all of a sudden Retribution shows up. Why does Retribution have an issue with The Fiend? I was excited to see the start with The Fiend and Alexa Bliss. I love the character work between these two. But then you have Retribution show up. And then The Fiend disappears and the Hurt Business comes out. Like, okay, great. You know, we're going to have a battle between these two. Suddenly we have an 8-man tag match between Hurt Business and Retribution. And Retribution got totally buried. Totally buried. T-Bar, who was Dominik Dijakovic, he ends up submitting to Bobby Lashley's Full Nelson. And that's it. That's the end of it. Then The Fiend comes back out and puts the Mandible Claw on T-Bar. So they get buried twice. I put it on Twitter. Retribution versus The Fiend and the Hurt Business is equal to John Cena burying the Nexus. That's exactly what this is. And then later on in the show, they have Mustafa Ali giving this impassioned promo talking about, yeah, he was the stalker, why they're doing what they're doing, everything. Maybe they should have had that at the beginning of the show. And then have this match a little bit later. Having that promo after the way they got destroyed makes absolutely no sense. Absolutely no continuity there. None whatsoever. AJ Styles versus Matt Riddle. Now, I'm not a fan of Matt Riddle. Never have been, never will be. AJ Styles has his new bodyguard with him. Jordan, I can't pronounce his last name. I'll get it right one of these days. But having AJ Styles stand next to this man that's 7'3", AJ Styles looks stupid. Okay, this is not Shawn Michaels standing next to Kevin Nash, Diesel. This is AJ Styles looking like, you know, a 5'2" midget standing up next to an NBA player, okay? It looked bad. Not a very good match. Surprisingly, when you've got... I will give Matt Riddle credit. He is a great athlete. I can't stand his character, personally. Then we have the Raw Women's Championship, Asuka versus Lana, and I'm going to apologize. I was one of the people that came out and posted and shared the information that, yep, there's the report that Vince wants to do this huge babyface push for Lana. I fell victim to it because, doggone it, it sure didn't happen. You know, people were posting, oh, Lana hung tough with Asuka. It was a 2-minute match. She submitted. Then all of a sudden, Baszler and Jax come out. They attack Lana, and Lana goes through the table again. What the heck was the purpose of that? Okay, are we... the only thing I could see happening with all of this, because you have the standoff between Jax and Baszler against Asuka's, is there going to be a triple threat match, which is going to finally be the implosion of the tag team of Jax and Baszler as they challenge Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship. I don't want them to go down that road, but it's sure looking that way. Then we have a four-way tag team match. You've got the Riot Squad, Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke, and the brand new Franken team of Peyton Royce and Lacey Evans. What the heck is that? Absolutely makes no sense, and still haven't gotten confirmation. Was this a title match or not? Was this a title match or not? I don't know. It looked like crap. It was garbage. I don't know what they were thinking. We've got the long-awaited concert from Elias. Can I please get that 10 minutes of my life back? Elias, yes, he's talented. He can play a guitar. He can sing. Good performer, but did we really need this? And why are they giving such a heavy push to his album release? Is he actually really releasing an album? What's going on? 2 songs. Yeah, you get Pyro, good everything. Then he comes back to do the encore. Jeff Hardy plays a couple of licks on the guitar. He's masked up like he's in Retribution. Comes out, tries whacking him with the guitar. And all of a sudden we have a match. And no, I didn't run you over with the car. Okay. At least we have a little continuity there, but you'd think Elias would have understood by now, 6 months later, it wasn't Jeff Hardy that ran him over. Kofi Kingston versus Sheamus. Now, the first time these two have met one-on-one in 9 years, and I put this on Twitter last night, this was sloppy. Especially the last 3 or 4 minutes of this match. Quite a few slips and botches, which is very surprising from 2 guys the caliber of them. Now, I don't know if, maybe because of the building, there was a problem with the humidity, what was going on, they were slipping. This is very much not like those two. I don't know what it's leading to. Is it going to be Sheamus now goes against Xavier in battling with the New Day, and then all of a sudden he finds a new tag team partner, and they go after the titles? I don't know where they're going with this. I really don't. This had the potential to be the match of the night, and just with all the slips and the mistakes later on in the match, it wasn't. Tucker comes out against Miz and Morrison, and Miz and Morrison had to stand in the ring for like 5 minutes, which was quite hilarious. And he brings out his partner that he scoured the world for. He looked everywhere around the world for this guy, and he finds the Grand Luchador, El Gran Gordo. Now, I predicted it. I wasn't the only one. There was a couple of other people that had posted on Twitter last night during all this. You know what's going to happen? Otis is going to come out. First, people were thinking it was going to be Otis. I said, he's going to come out in a mask. And he did. Everybody knows it's Otis. It's just like Juan Cena and Mr. America. Everybody knew it was Otis. But it was funny. Miz, doing what he does best on the mic, great job, says, he looks, El Gran Gordo looks like a wrestler that ate the Lucha House Party. Okay? That was, that along with the two turds from Sheamus, was part of the funniest part of the night. It actually was an entertaining match. Until the very end when R-Truth comes running through with the 24/7 title, trailed by Gulak and Akira Tozawa, and I feel so bad for the Lucha House Party. Grand Metalik and Lince Dorado are now stuck in the 24/7 title cycle. I'm so sorry. I really am. But El Gran Gordo ends up getting the victory after, I don't know how you say caterpillar in Mexican, but after the caterpillar and a second rope splash, the Vader bomb. Then we see a few minutes later, we see New Day celebrating with Tucker, El Gran Gordo, and look, Mandy Rose shows up and she's got a ham. Gee, Mandy Rose knows who it was. They need to put an end to this feud very soon. If they're not going to let Otis get a shot at whatever title with the Money in the Bank, get it off of him, but please don't give it to Miz. He doesn't need it. Money in the Bank should be building up a new talent. And Miz has been around for 15 years. He's a former champion. He cashed in Money in the Bank successfully once. He doesn't need to do it again. The main event, Braun Strowman versus Keith Lee. Oh my goodness, what are they doing with booking with Keith Lee? He has just been a hot mess since being called up. He was the NXT champion, loses that belt quickly, gets called up, starts off good, being in battles with Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton. Now all of a sudden he's in what was about a 4-minute match with Braun Strowman that saw an inadvertent headbutt and a really sloppy finish for the pinfall, and then Keith Lee low blows Braun Strowman. So, gee, could we see that match at Hell in a Cell too? It hasn't been announced, but we're going to see a battle between these two behemoths. It did nothing. You know, you had Braun Strowman playing up the injuries he got from Roman Reigns, but why? Let's reverse a little bit back to last Friday. Why was Braun Strowman in a Universal title match against Roman Reigns? Because he was the former champion? I don't know. That was just an absolutely god-awful match. And then we have the finale of everything. Drew McIntyre had said earlier in the evening that, hey, I heard Randy Orton's going to be cutting a promo later. Wherever he's going to be, I'm going to be there. Randy Orton requested that he be inside Hell in a Cell in the Thunderdome, and he was. And it looked impressive, you know, the big red cage and everything. He locks the cage door, starts going through his promo, talking about his, you know, previous Hell in a Cell matches, and that's probably been the big thing that I've taken away from this feud and I've loved is Randy's promo work. Randy's promo work has been stellar during this entire feud. Drew comes down and Randy's taunting him because the cage is locked, and we all knew where this was going. He was either going to rip down the door, somebody was going to lift up the cage, or guess what? He found the bolt cutters. Goes to cut the chain. Randy gets in the ring with a chair. Drew goes in, slams the cage shut, and off the air they go. What? And I did not watch Raw Talk afterwards, but I heard numerous reports that when they went to Raw Talk, they had the cage of the ring in the background, and there was nobody there. It was empty. So, cameras are off. Drew, Randy, you guys got to go. We're done. You know, Adam Pearce came out to him. Nope, we're done. We're off the air. Go away. We'll deal with this on Sunday. Why? No fight. No beatdown. No pull-aparts. No nothing. Why? I don't understand it. That was an absolutely crap-tastic Raw for the season premiere and the go-home for Hell in a Cell. What were they thinking? I have no freaking clue. I wish I did. I really wish I did. All right. On to some good news. I want to talk about a couple things. You'll notice over here, to my right, your right, my left, whatever it may be. Please follow me on social media. Follow WrestleScope on social media. We've got TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. And also now, podcasts. So the WrestleScope Weekly, the video is now a podcast. I'm going to have to put the Patreon link up here too. It is available on Apple. It is also available, I have to think, where else am I available? You'd think I'd know this, because they're mine, and I don't remember. BuzzSprout and Apple. Hopefully going to be up and available here. Also on Spotify and Stitcher. Hopefully going to be up on iHeartRadio later this week as well. And working on Amazon for your, well, I can't say it, the A word goes with Bliss, who I absolutely love. Oh, I didn't talk about that. I did not talk about the Firefly Funhouse. And I have to talk about that real quick. That was my favorite thing of the night. You know, poor Ramblin' Rabbit, again, he is South Park's Kenny, to the WWE. He gets killed again by Mercy the Buzzard. But when the knock on the door and Alexa Bliss walks in and she's officially in the Playhouse, in the Funhouse with Bray Wyatt, that was the best moment of the night. My concern right now with Bray Wyatt is he comes over, most talked about draft pick going over to Raw. He attacks Andrade last week. He's out there with Hurt Business and Retribution this week. Where's he going? He doesn't have a match at Hell in a Cell. This is the pay-per-view that's perfectly suited for The Fiend. And unless he interferes... something for the predictions, maybe. Maybe we're going to know where the Fiend's intentions go at the end of the night, Sunday night, depending on who wins. We'll talk about that. But yes, please, thank you for tuning in. Give me a follow on all my social media. You see them listed. I'll get the pointing right. Listed over here. Also, on any one of those, you can, and also on YouTube, I have my link tree added as well. There's Patreon, and there's some other links as well. Going to be doing much more now that podcast is up and running. Going to be doing much more on Patreon starting in November. Going to have some different tiers available there, so if you want to support WrestleScope through Patreon, please do so. I'm John. Thank you very much. Enjoy your day. Excited for NXT and for AEW on Wednesday night, and I'll be back later this week with some more wrestling updates.